Hey guys, Stephen Phillips here, back in the garage. Today we're looking at Warren's front and rear Ascent bumpers, and with Warren we have Brad. How you doing, Brad?
Doing good.
Thanks for coming in today.
It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. So Brad, kind of what I want to do in this video is kind of talk about three major aspects of these bumpers. First of all is going to be the build quality, what they're made of, kind of the gauge of steel, kind of what goes into the construction process, and then move into the features and benefits like the provisions you have here for your winch and your proximity sensors, things like that. And then last but not least, we'll talk about the installation and let our viewers at home know if they can handle this on their own or not. So getting started, Brad, tell us more about the construction of this bumper.
So, engineered right there in Clackamas, Oregon, where Warren's based, has been for 70 years this year.
Yes, sir.
So we're building them, fabricating them, powder coating them, everything right there in Oregon.
That's great.
Making them out of USA steel. So it's been a great product for us. 11 gauge steel shell.
Okay.
So real heavy duty. The bracketry and stuff inside between 3/16, quarter inch. We've got some even half-inch stuff on some of the brackets. So real heavy duty design, engineered to fit right on. No drilling needed on mounting them up to the truck. And yeah, it's just been an awesome line. It's our off-road style, so it's got a lot of ground clearance, a lot of tire clearance.
Yeah.
And we're powder coating them there in-house. We got a 400-hour salt spray test with staying on these. So these are right up there with our winch bodies and everything else. It's a super durable finish on those things.
And these look and feel great. Now I do know you kind of do is it called a deflection test where you rate these to your winches? How does that work?
So we're gonna engineer the bumper. We're gonna build a prototype. We're gonna put our 12. We rate it to a 12,000 pound winch. We're gonna put a 12,000 pound winch in there.
Okay.
On an actual truck, and we're gonna take it out. We're gonna pull it to the full extent of that winch.
Wow.
If that bumper moves at all, if any bracket, any part of it deflects, any bends at all, it's gonna fail.
So it's a serious test.
It's a 100% test.
Wow. So. Very good. So give us more of the details now on the features and benefits, like the Baja Guard here, the provisions, the tow hooks. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
Right. So this is it's your off-road bumper. So it's going to give you, it's going to be cut up high, so you got the most ground clearance. It's going to be at the best approach angle you can get. We're going to have cutouts for the lights. You can run anybody's cube light in there.
Okay. 2
on each side. And then, D-rings to mount shackles to, aid in that recovery. And if you're really stuck and got to run a snatch block and run it back to the bumper, or if you're pulling out somebody else. Proximity sensors. So all of our bumpers are pre-drilled, ready for those newer trucks and the fancier models to run those proximity sensors. So yeah, ready to go.
Very good. Now, what about the Baja Guard here? Is that included in the kit? Is it separate? How does that work?
This is an optional piece that you can add on any Ascent bumper. It's a bolt-on piece made out of a 2-inch 120 wall tubing. Again, made there in the United States in Clackamas, Oregon. Just gives you a little bit more style, gives you a little protection for the grill, more places to put lights or jack or whatever you want on there. So
always a good thing.
Good styling ad.
Yes, sir. And with that out of the way, let's move to the rear bumper now and talk about those features and then come back for the full installation detail. All right, Brad, so moving on to the rear bumper, I kind of want to ask those same questions, so about the build quality and then the feature set. So give us the story about the build.
All right, so again, built in Clackamas, Oregon, American-made steel, running through that same powder coat line to get the awesome corrosion resistance on that textured black finish there. Our rear bumpers, all of them feature the integral corner steps to give you a real good, easy access to the bed. We've got the similar light ports that we do on the front, on the rear. Again, to accept a cube light, make great backup lights and just extra visibility out there. We do have cutouts for any of the proximity sensors, the backup sensors that come on most of the newer trucks nowadays. And we also feature cutouts exactly the same as what's in the factory bumper for the spare tire mount, trailer plug, all that kind of stuff. So,
good deal. And one other key feature I noticed here that some other bumpers do not have is that we can actually still use a receiver hitch like normal. I know some bumpers kind of take that out and implement their own kind of receiver hitch into the bumper itself. So that's a great thing that you've added there. Now onto the installation. So first up, we're going to talk about the front bumper. Now, Brad, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this as far as difficulty goes, and then give us a kind of an estimate on the time that it's going to take for us to install?
So the front bumper, there's quite a bit of stuff to do, getting the old bumper and stuff off. So it's probably about a 4, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10. Everything's going to line up. Everything's going to be pretty easy to get to with regular hand tools.
Okay.
You are going to need an extra hand or an extra couple sets of hands. The bumper's not hard to put on. It's not overly heavy.
but just to get it straight and get bolts tight while you lift, aligning the bumper.
That makes sense.
And one nice thing about ours is you put the winch in after you put the bumper on.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have the winch weight to
Not all
deal
that
with
weight.
when you're putting the bumper on. So the bumper itself really doesn't weigh much more than the factory one.
Okay. All right, now, same questions, but for the rear bumper. What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and what about a timeline?
So the rear, we're probably around a 7. There's a little bit more to do on the rear. You've got to lift the bed up a little bit to get the factory bumper off, and then accessing the new bolts to put that rear bumper on does take a little bit more dexterity and stuff to reach back up in there. You need some long extensions to get to some of those bolts, quite a few wrenches and that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit more difficult on the rear.
Okay, so viewers at home, it does sound like you can do the front bumper really with just the buddy on hand. As far as the rear bumper though, anything over 7, we typically recommend take it to a pro, but again, you can use your own discretion there. We do think that is probably something you can do, but just know that it's gonna be a day job really. It's gonna be kind of a tough thing. But as always, if you have any questions about the installation process, check the description below our video. We'll have a dealer locator there so you can find a local dealer who's more than happy to give you some consultation on this process. Okay guys, so that's a wrap on Warren's Ascent front and rear bumpers. Now Brad, before we go, thank you for coming in today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been a great pleasure. Now viewers at home, as always, if you have any questions or just want more details on this bumper set, check the description below the video. We'll have everything for you there from a part number all the way to a dealer locator so you can make this installation or purchase happen from there. Now, if you like the video, leave us a like. If you love the video, subscribe and maybe click the bell icon for notifications anytime we release a new video. Thanks again for tuning in. This has been Total Truck Centers in the Garage.